G'day, guys. There is just over 24 hours until the 2022 NRL season kicks off, and I'm so excited for tomorrow night's game between the Manly Seagulls and the Penrith Panthers. Before this video starts, this channel is still sponsored by Drom Clothing. Make sure you go and check out drom.com.au, Drom Clothing Co. over on Instagram, and don't forget to use code ENT15 at drom.com.au. Today's guest is also part of the Drom family. It is Mr. Luke Sports, and he's going to be joining me as we're going to be ranking NRL jerseys for 2022. How are you tonight, Mr. Luke?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Not too bad, mate. Not too bad. I mean, 24 hours till footy. It's been a long off season. There's been a lot of hype around these trials. I don't read too much into trials, but if anything to go by, Parramatta's going to win the comp.
I'll be honest. I rate Para. I just filmed my predictions for the season, uploaded it, and I had Para as my minor premiers. I think they're actually going to be a really good, solid side throughout the whole year. In terms of actually winning the comp, I'm not sure, but in terms of just being a side that's right up there, it's going to be real good. By the way, loving the shirt.
Oh, thanks, mate. Front and center, there he is, your Dally M medalist pick, Nathan Cleary. I've watched the video already. I was coming home from work, had it in the car. But let's get straight into it. So your team, Canterbury, I'll be interested to hear later on about their jersey. But let's start off with the site. So this is the Brisbane Broncos. Now, Brisbane Bronco, the Kia. Is it Kia or is it? It looks like a strange.
Yeah, it's Kia. No, the Kia changed their logo. So I'm used to probably like you've seen at the tennis. Bulldogs are sponsored by them. They just had that I don't know, not a circle, but like a footy sort of oval. Oval is probably the word. They had that one, but they've changed it up a little bit. So
I'm not a huge fan of it. I don't know if it's just the Kia or I guess it's nice that they've gone with the same kind of colour as Brisbane Broncos fans every year. But I personally don't rate this jersey very much. I'm probably going to give it probably a 4 out of 10.
I think I gave it I for sure did a video going through this jersey, and I remember thinking it looks a lot better than I'm big into the brand integration, whether it looks out of place. So I can definitely see it with the Broncos jersey, and it doesn't look out of place, but at the same time, it doesn't necessarily look good. So yeah, I'll give it a 6, 6.5, maybe 6.
All right, let's move on to the next one where there's some away jerseys. We've got the Canberra Raiders. No more. The Canberra Milk was previously on the jersey, but now it looks like it's moved to the armbands and their new sponsor, Toyota Forklifts. I don't like how clumpy it is. I kind of like that stripe down the middle of the back of the collar. That's a nice, interesting touch, something different.
They've had that for a fair few years now, though. I've always seen it. Like you said, it looks cool, but then when they're actually playing it, you don't actually see it. It's only if you were just looking at it.
That's right. I think it's a bit better than Brisbane's, but still not great. I'll probably give this one a 5 out of 10. I think that some Raiders jerseys look much better than this one. Yeah, that Heritage one looks quite nice, but
I was just going to say, the Heritage jersey, I had this problem with it last year. I've done it last year. I've done it this year. Went through the home jersey. I feel like they don't actually really play with this one as the home jersey, despite it being called the home jersey. They used the Heritage one, especially last year. It was very evident when they'd always have the Canberra Milk, like an old school jersey. But when they play with this one, it feels more like an away jersey, or if there was a kick clash. If English Premier League, soccer or whatever, they had a third jersey if the jerseys were too similar. This is the sort of jersey you would end up with, the thing in the top. But the Toyota Forklifts, it's just such an eyesore for me. It's they've, if you just took a JPEG or something, a real low quality picture,
even the positioning of it, man. The positioning and how much room there is down the bottom.
This looks like if I was making a team on Rugby League Live 4, this would be the sort of jersey you'd end up with. Some shitty little logo put straight in the middle, out of place, but it's just, there's a sponsor.
There you go. Let's move into the next one, which we've got a few Raiders jerseys there. It's your boys, the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. Now, obviously, a few years ago, they had the Kia, and they had no logo at all. I actually don't mind this one. It's got that kind of white V there, blue V underneath it. You got your blue for the Doggies. I haven't liked the Doggies jerseys in recent years, but I actually don't mind this one. I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 7.5. I like it, but it's sort of similar to like your Rabbitohs and Dragons and stuff. There's not too much you can do with the home jerseys. Like say like with Brisbane when we talked about it earlier, they sort of deviate away from like the previous season's one, where the Bulldogs, your Dragons, your Rabbitohs, they're all pretty much the same jersey with a different sponsor, maybe different make, but they all sort of have that V. And I feel like with the Bulldogs, like it's not good for the club, but I feel like I actually like not having the sponsor in the sleeve. The Learning Hotels doesn't stand out majorly. It's not like an eyesore like the Cowboys, the Canberra one where it's like right in the middle, just in the way. I feel like all the colours sort of go together. Sydney Tools is there in the red, but it's such a small one. I like the little premiership numbers on the collar too.
Oh, right. I didn't notice that. You know what? I'm going to upgrade it. I really like this. It's growing on me. I'm going to upgrade it 0.5. I'm going to give it a 7. I'm going to give it a 7.
I'll say take me back to the days when Nike used to make the Bulldogs jersey and the Broncos for that, but love those days.
Let's move on to the Cronulla Sharks. Now, there's an interesting kind of shine to this Aramex logo. I know that they're also sponsored by Zambrero, but I think that's on the back of the jersey. That's not on the front.
Yeah.
It's not too bad. It's nothing special. The logo that's on the side, I can't tell who the sponsor is. Cutters, don't know. But I actually think the Bulldogs jersey is much better than this. So I'm gonna give the Sharks a 5 here.
This sort of goes with what I was saying earlier about the Bulldogs jersey. Cronulla, when was the last time they had a different jersey for their home jersey to this one? They've had different sponsors. One thing I will say is I do like the color integration of the PointsBet to the Aramax, which PointsBet we'll find out later on is actually a sponsor of a couple of these jerseys. But just in terms of the red and black, and then also the Aramax with the lines on the top, they also sort of work together, which I do rate. But in terms of a Sharks jersey, it's just like the same old Sharks jersey with just another sponsor.
Pretty much, not wrong there. Let's move into the Gold Coast Titans. Now, Gold Coast Titans have a new logo. We've seen plenty of promotional photos with this one. Just to show you guys, there's the new official Gold Coast Titans logo, which I'm not a big fan of. I prefer their old one personally, but maybe it'll grow on me. Looks like they've got.
I'm with you. I think the same.
Looks like they got a fake Afterpay as their sponsor in the middle. Looks like they've got a mountain potentially as the sea. Kind of looks like a mountain. I actually don't mind this jersey. I'll probably put it on par with the Bulldogs. As for the Titans logo, I'm not a fan of the logo, but I am a fan of the way that Titans looks. I think the Gold Coast writing is too small as well and could be, I guess, yellow associated with beach, but I guess it works quite well. So I'm going to give it on par with the Bulldogs here and give the Titans a 7 out of 10.
I feel like Titans have got an easy one for me because I like the colours that they have normally. But I feel like the sponsor, once again, it looks very out of place, like a purple sponsor on a blue background. I don't know. Like you said, that the logo itself does look quite strange. But this is, correct me if I'm wrong, is this just the last year's jersey, just with the new logo, the new sponsor?
It could be. I'm not sure off the top of my head. I really don't. The more I look
at least
at it,
a very similar one.
I don't like that Telstra Premiership logo highlighted yellow and things. It just doesn't work like that.
Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of it. Like I'd give it maybe like a 6.
6. That's even worse. Look at that one. That almost looks like they're trying to steal the Parramatta white one from last year. Let's move into Manly Seagulls here. PointsBet, you mentioned it. They're popping up again. Manly forever on the logo and Dynasty on a few teams as well. I think it's too simplistic, this one. I think that there's not enough going on. Or even there's too many of those double stripes as well. Maybe 2.
Yeah.
Maybe even just drop that bottom one under where the black tag is. I think it's too messy for me. 5.5.
I don't mind it. So I'd give it about like a 7.5. I don't mind it. I think I remember saying, like, I like the the PointsBet on there. So they've differentiated. This is where I had a problem with Kia when they were a sponsor. No matter what, the team, like, they sponsored the Bulldogs and the Broncos. And with the Bulldogs, they chucked like a red logo and it just clearly didn't go. But with the Broncos, they changed the colors. So they can deviate a little bit. PointsBet has. on the Sharks jersey, we saw they were black and red. This one, they're just straight up white. I think it works well with the rest of the jersey. It's not like they've just, like, say the Titans one, just have a big purple patch, or the Cronulla one, a big white patch on different colors, where this one all blends in well. The problem, I really hate that Shaw and Partners sponsor on the sleeves. On the front of the jersey, I don't really care, but the one on the corners, it just looks weird. They've got sponsors that just straight up have some Microsoft Word sponsor, basically.
Do you think there's too many sponsors on jerseys these days, or you think it's a fair point that they have it?
Look, I understand the reason of having sponsors, and I still remember back when I was a kid, I was like, yeah, I've got to get the official jersey compared to like Best and Less, whatever it was, so that have the sponsors on it. It's just, I suppose, it just depends on it. So you're looking at this Melbourne one right now. There's nothing on the sleeves. Like, it doesn't look overcrowded.
I was just about to say that. Move those wings to the sleeves, and I think this would be quite nice for the most part. But I don't like there being nothing on the sleeve. I really like that Suzuki in that V-shaped area there, but I think it's better than the previous jersey I looked at. So look, I'll give it a 6.5.
Yeah, I'll give this one like a solid 7. A 7. Like, it's hard to sort of rate these because I feel like there's none that I'd like genuinely terrible. For the most part, at least the ones we've seen so far, there's none that are like absolute like 0s out of 10s until this next one we're about to look at.
I hate this jersey. I'm going to go first here. I hate the NIB being so off-center. You mentioned it before, Microsoft Word. Now, I can't remember if it was this year or last year. Correct me if I'm wrong. It might have been last year. Was it last year that the Newcastle Knights switched their logo?
Yes. Yeah, they just did like they just flipped it a little bit.
Just flipped it from left pointing to right. I like the Knights colours. I like the blue and red. You kind of look like Spider-Man. But as for this jersey itself, I don't mind the O'Neills up the top, and I feel like the McDonald Jones could probably be lower on the sleeve as well. But that NIB just doesn't stand out to me, and for that reason, I can only give it a 5.
Yeah, I genuinely think this is the worst jersey. I know you gave Broncos a lower one, but at least it sort of feels like a Broncos jersey. This one, it feels like they've just made, like, this is the Wish version of their like 2001 jersey where they won the premiership. It looks shit. NIB is just terrible. Like, as it is, like when they had the darker version of it, I feel like they might have been flipped the colors, but it just, for something that, like with the Knights, that should just be a layup. You got red and you got blue. You can't really go wrong with that, and yet they still have.
They've stuffed it up majorly. Moving on to the North Queensland Cowboys, a team that we have both picked for the wooden spoon. You've got the Cowboys reflection logo underneath the Toyota, and it looks really, really strange. I like the logo looks nice, but it looks like you have to move that Toyota down. I don't like the shadowing and the kind of grayed out lines through the Toyota. Again, I think the sponsors need to be around that lower sleeve area. The Dynasty looks pretty cool on it. It's a cool color. I think it's pretty decent for the most part besides that shadow area. So I'm actually going to give this one a 6.5.
Okay, so this is one I had a lot of, not controversy, but like last year. This is like basically the same jersey they used as an away jersey, I think. I'm trying to remember the exact one. They used one of them as like their away jersey like 2 or 3 years ago, and then they made it the home jersey. And then they swapped it up. Like, they just changed it from the away to make it the home. And I think that was last year that they changed it. And then this is the exact same jersey from last year.
The Rabbitohs did something similar. I think it might have been 2020 or 2019 where I said, my God, that's the same jersey. You've just changed one thing, you know?
Yep, that's pretty much what the Cowboys have done. And quite literally, they just copy and paste it from last year, chuck in maybe a sponsor or two. There's nothing I can really look at that looks different. Like, it definitely is a Cowboys jersey. There's no doubt about that. There's no sort of mixing up with anyone. But I kind of like the Cowboy being on the sponsor, but at the same time, I feel like if you were just watching them, you're not even going to see it. It's just something that you would see in just like a still image of just the jersey. So yeah, I'd give it maybe like a 5.
5. Who we got next? We got my boys. We got the Parramatta Eels. Now, I have bought I've got a few Eels jerseys. I haven't bought one since the last one I bought was the white alternate jersey for 2021. I didn't get a 2021.
Are they still rocking that this year, the white one?
I think they will be. I think it could be a Magic Round jersey, so keep your eye on that. You got the Actron Air on the sleeve. You've got the Macron little things up the top. I feel like the Macron up the top doesn't work. I think they should be on another part, even one maybe underneath the lending association, but then you'd probably have too much going on. I'm not going to be biased here. I probably will get this jersey, and I don't mind it, but I don't think it's as good as like the Bulldogs, for example. So I'm going to look. We'll put it on par with them, and I think that it's okay. I'm going to give it a 6.5 to a 7. I'll go 7.
So I'm going to give it a 7.5. And I said in my video, I'm not sure what rating I gave it, but it kind of reminds me of like a soccer jersey, just like the layout of it and stuff. But the one thing I will give with Para is not necessarily every year, but they are a team that does swap it up. Like I said, a lot of the times the home jerseys, away jerseys, you can experiment a little bit. Home jerseys is one where they sort of just copy and paste from previous year, chuck another sponsor on. Parramatta are not one of those sides. They do try new things, whether it's swap, like I've seen in the past where the same jersey we're looking at right now or the one previously, it could easily be just the colors flipped. Like sometimes they use the home jersey as more predominantly yellow. Even thinking back to like, the 09 run, that was a yellow jersey. But now they're sort of going the blue jerseys. They do swap it up a little bit, and I give them extra points for that, just for a little bit of creativity.
You like that white one? The heritage one?
I really like the white one.
Like, I
wouldn't
too.
even I wouldn't even be against them using that as like a home jersey. I don't know if it would be a para sort of jersey, but just in terms of the actual look of it, it looks really nice.
How much better does the Macron logos look up here around your? I don't know.
Oh, way better. Way better.
Much better. Let's move
even
on.
The sleeves look real nice. So I like that jersey. That jersey, because I actually like that.
You like
I feel
that
like
one?
that reminds me of some of the more classic jerseys that I sort of think of, sort of back to like the 09 run, like the yellow. I like the yellow as the main color.
Panthers. Now, is it just lines or is there writing in the background of the top of the jersey? Do you know?
I think it's just lines. I think this is literally the same jersey as last year.
I was just about to say that. It is a nice looking jersey, but it does feel the same. I do really like the look of it though. Out of the jerseys I've seen.
As soon as they started putting those three, the red, yellow, and green, I was like, yeah, this is a nice jersey. I rate this one. It's just,
I know it's probably the same as last year, but I think it's the best on this list so far. So I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10.
It's what's the best way to put it? Probably like a clean jersey. It's nice. There's no rule. So like even like, the O plus hurts. There's nothing. O'Neill's. There's nothing to look at, and I'm like, yeah, I hate that. Everything about even this I like.
Even the cool light right down the bottom in that little kind of oval footy shape is a nice little touch. You wouldn't notice it, but everything, the sponsors and the colouring system they've worked, they've done really well with this one.
Also, like I've talked about earlier about if, copy and pasting from previous years. But if you're ever going to copy and paste, you're going to copy and paste from your premiership year. So I like that.
Exactly. Let's move on to, there's the alternate one.
I was going to say, I actually like the alternate one too, yeah. But I'm sure the Pink Panther's been around for quite a while. I'm sure they've used the alternate one last year as well.
St. George Illawarra Dragons. Does this one ever change? I don't know if it does.
I don't think it does. Maybe at worst or maybe at best, just like the sleeves, like the little outline. But something about it I like the Dragons jersey. Something about it, I just do.
So do I. Not as much as the Panthers on that bar, but I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10 because I just really like the look of it for the most part. And let's see if they mix it up next year.
Even down to like the St. George being a sponsor, like it's just so fitting, right? Like we're talking about sponsors in the past. The away jersey and not so much.
Not so much. That's a shocker, that one. Looks like bricks being outlined.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's move into the Rabbitohs. Now, interesting, we've only got the photo of the players here, so I'm going to have to look closely. I think the MG takes way too much spotlight away, which obviously the brand's paid a lot of money to do so. It does look like they have changed it up a bit. You've got the black and the white rabbit, which is a nice, interesting touch. So I'll give them that.
Also, if you notice, the actual sponsor itself changes color depending on the jersey.
That's true. That's true. I just think it's way too big, too clunky. I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10 for this one, but I think it would be higher if the MG was smaller and maybe swap. Yeah, you've got MG motor as well. So there's too much MG on that jersey.
I'm going to give this one a 7.5 because I feel like it definitely feels like a classic Rabbitohs jersey. I do like that the sponsor has changed the colors. I know like it looks big, but also you take into account like previous years, I feel like the sponsor they've had on the front has also been a big one. So I don't know. You can't really go wrong with the Rabbitohs jersey. I've never really seen a terrible one. No Roosters one here.
No Roosters jersey, guys.
They've basically got the same. I'm pretty sure I've seen it. They've got the same one as far as I'm aware as last year.
Speaking of the same one, I think the Warriors have the same as last year, pretty much.
Okay. So I thought the exact same thing. I went into my video and I said, copy and paste from last year, same color. Turns out something about the V. Like last year, the V was like curved or something, where this one is just a straight V. So there is a little bit of a difference. But I wouldn't have noticed. But my subscribers did notice. So it is technically a little bit of a difference, but it's the exact same color scheme. Like literally what you're seeing, all it would be if you just went onto Photoshop and just pulled it a little bit.
I think two things here. One, I think the jersey should be darker. I think there's too many lighter colors, and I don't like that kind of thing. I think it should be darker colors used. And the second thing, the Pumas up the top, I think they should be kind of going towards each other. I don't like the one that's going down on the sleeve and one up. It doesn't work for me. So, yeah, I'm not a big fan of this at all. Hey, I'm going to give it a 5.5.
I like the color. I like the actual colors itself, like blue, green, red. Even like the Vodafone. I like the Vodafone. Be with them quite a while. Sky Sports. I don't mind all the sponsors. I'm so used to all of the sponsors. Like the whole time I grew up, sponsors were either like where this little Adidas logo is for me, like they're either there or they're right in the middle. And I'm trying to adjust to having like the classic Puma. Dynasty, they all seem to have them on the like shoulder section these days, and then they have an actual sponsor where the makers used to be. I find that a little bit strange, even down to the logo, like the actual Telstra Premiership logo. Like it's red, but it kind of goes into the white and the green section. I know it's sort of just nitpicking at this point, but like purely because it's a sort of traditional sort of Warriors jersey. I guess you can sort of look at it that way, but for me, I'm sort of with you. Like it's better like a 5, 6, 5.5 maybe. So I think that one looks better. I think the away one looks better for me.
That one looks much better. I agree. I know white is a lighter color, so people in the comments are going to go, but hang on, you said darker color, but I think there should be some darker colors involved in that home jersey. Away one, bit different. West Tigers, just like the Gold Coast Titans, they've changed their logo. West Tigers have one of the best logos in the NRL, if not the best, in my opinion. So for this new one to come out, I guess it will take some time to grow on me. Not a huge fan of it, but I definitely like it more than the Titans. Let's have a look at their jersey.
When you're talking about the logo, I still remember them hyping it up big time. Like we've got this big announcement, and people are like, "Who are they signing?" And then they're like, "Here's our logo. It's basically the same, but we just cut off parts of it."
Cut off the.
Is that the same jersey as last year though, with the new logo?
It's very similar to last year. There are a few little changes in, I think, the sponsors there. I don't think Organica was there last time from memory. I like the Magpies. Obviously, a lot of history with the club being on the sleeve. I think the Magpies should be lowered and the Bryden's Lawyers should be scrapped. It's there 3 times, for God's sake. But in saying that, I haven't gotten behind the Tigers for a game, so I look forward to putting a Tigers jersey on in 2022. And I'm probably going to give this one a 6 because I don't mind. I'm going to give it a 6.5. I don't mind it at all.
I'm going to give this one a 5 just because I feel like they've used this same design maybe like tiny variations of it, but they've used the same design for years and years and years. At least the away one looks quite different, but that home one seems to be the one they use time after time. And we talked about Para in the past, sort of switching up the colours. I know the Tigers have, obviously, they've got the two different clubs come together, so it makes sense. But I feel like it's been some time since they've had the like the black jersey, like anything different. So the orange has always sort of been the away one, the black one being the home one. So it's been some time since they've swapped anything up, really. Just the same jersey with new sponsors. But not even really new sponsors. Brighton's Blue's been with them for quite some time too.
Well, there you go, guys. That caught me off guard being the end of the video because obviously the Roosters didn't have a jersey. So ton of fun ranking the jerseys with Mr. Luke Sports. Make sure you go and check out his channel. Plenty of rugby league live content. Will you be doing weekly tipping videos this season?
Oh, I don't know about the tipping ones. I'll be doing weekly Rugby League Live 4 videos, though. We'll be playing some, like whoever's playing in the week, we'll go through, we'll play some games. And, you know, I might win, I might lose. I might get beat by 50. We'll see.
I'll definitely invite him at some point for NRL tips. Make sure you check out his channel. Make sure you subscribe to this channel if you're new. Good luck to the Panthers and the Seagulls. And the time of filming this is early, so I can't reveal who I think will win the game, but you have seen that by now over on the channel. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know your favorite NRL jersey in the comments, and I'll see you guys later.